One foot in the grave.
We're going over to the newsroom for a news report now on BBC One. Here's Michael Buerk.
In the last few minutes, there have been explosions in the centre of Baghdad. Anti-aircraft batteries opened fire just after 10 to 10. It wasn't immediately clear if there had been an American missile attack. As the explosions continued, word came from the White House that President Clinton would shortly be making a statement. A little earlier, sirens had sounded throughout Baghdad, but these had stopped by the time the firing started. Moments ago, there were the sound of explosions that are thought to have been missiles or bombs striking the ground. But as yet, there's been no independent confirmation the airstrikes have begun. The reports, though, of smoke rising into the sky over Baghdad. Well, I'm joined now from Washington by our correspondent Stephen Sackur. Is there any confirmation there, Stephen, that the attacks are underway?
No official word, Michael, that the attacks have begun, but as you indicated, there is an expectation here at the White House now that President Clinton will address the nation within the next hour or so. And the assumption, of course, is that he will explain to Americans why he has decided to launch military strikes against Iraq. No official confirmation of that, but that is the assumption here.
There isn't total support, political support for President Clinton for those strikes, though, are there? In the last half hour or so, the Senate Majority Leader said he couldn't support them. What is liable to be the impact of that?
Well, that is a remarkable development. Trent Lott, the leader of the Republicans in the Senate, said he could not support military action at this time. That's unprecedented. Normally, at times like this, American politicians of all persuasions rally around the flag. They talk about national unity. That isn't happening this time because it seems clear that many Republicans, including senior figures in the party, suspect that Bill Clinton is manipulating this crisis to try to, in a sense, delay the vote tomorrow that was expected, which was expected to go against him and which would have seen him impeached. That is the cloud that's hanging over the president here at home, and it clearly is affecting the way people are regarding his operations abroad.
Stephen, thank you. Well, I'm joined now on the line, the telephone line, by Jeremy Cooke from Baghdad. Jeremy, what's happening there now?
Well, Mike, it's gone quiet now, but for the last few minutes we've had a series of deafening explosions around Baghdad. Those explosions began, to my reckoning, at 12:49 a.m. local time, just about 10 to 10 your time in London. There were no air raid sirens. This time they had sounded earlier, but they did not actually warn the public when the attack finally came. I didn't hear any sound of aircraft flying overhead. The first indication I had that anything was happening was these series of deafening explosions, very loud reports across the city, it seemed. And that was followed very quickly by a salvo of anti-aircraft fire, which was then and continues to light up the sky over Baghdad, the Iraqi capital.
Jeremy, thank you. And we'll just go back to Stephen Sackur outside the White House, where there's been some news in the last couple of seconds, hasn't there, Stephen?
Michael, we're now getting reports that U.S. officials are confirming that a strike is underway on Iraq. So we now believe we can say that officially Americans have launched strikes. There is no more prevarication. This is underway.
Stephen Sackur in Washington, Jeremy Cooke in Baghdad, thanks very much indeed. And there'll be more news on these airstrikes in Newsnight, which starts on BBC Two at 10:35.
You're watching BBC One.